I will literally kick you off the show.
You too
Right
already.
now, you're done.
Jeez, oh man. Welcome to the show, everybody. Episode
Done.
333, episode 333, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to the show.
I need a drink already.
Derby is driving Mike to drink already. We only been on air for about 30 seconds, if even. But these two have been driving me nuts all the way up to this point. Good morning. What's going on, guys?
I got nothing today. I'm done. I'm shutting down.
You have nothing today?
I got nothing. I get, oh, there's breaking news. I was like, get on Twitter. Oh, no. It's just people talking. Derby got me all excited thinking, Chase Young was traded to the Steelers, that he had some inside source before, he had like a direct line to like, I don't know, Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter. And he's just filled my head with dreams that we were going to do something. And then he lied to me.
Can you imagine? Well, I mean, it's possible at this point.
It's very possible.
We spoke a little bit about this yesterday. What do we got to give up, guys? What do we have to give up in order to give Chase Young? Draft picks.
Well,
I would say the highest is a second.
Yeah, probably a second, because right now, they didn't put a first, or they didn't give him that 5-year option on his contract. They didn't activate that, so it's showing that they're okay with letting him walk or trying to negotiate a contract after the season, because they could always franchise him and all that fun drama that ensues. But I don't want to give up any first round picks just because of how well Omar Khan drafted this year and how well he maneuvered the draft. I wouldn't be opposed to giving up a second or even maybe like a third and some other picks to make a nice little package over like a 2-year, like two draft, like a third this year, a fourth, fifth next year, something along those lines. I'd have no problem with, but I don't want to give up a number one for Chase Young.
Yeah,
but because you don't know where you're going to use him, and he, is he going to be a 1-year player in Pittsburgh? Because his contract up.
I gotta say,
Highsmith's contract's up.
I gotta think that what have they been doing in Pittsburgh my whole life? Because this Omar Khan really came in and made his work seem so effortless since he's took this position and making things happen in the offseason and the draft and free agency. And I don't, where is any of this been my whole life? Is he just that good, or have the Steelers just been that conservative?
They've just been that conservative. My God,
I think it's been one.
Yeah, they've been conservative. Colbert was conservative. Donahue before him was conservative just as well when it came to
why were they so conservative? I mean, you can
see it's the Steeler way.
Changes that you could make a change in your team, and I just don't understand why these guys let it go on for years and not improve the team by making aggressive moves at some point.
Because we're the Pittsburgh Steelers and we do things our way, and we're not going to, do what the rest of the league does, even though it works. We're stuck in our mindset of we're going to do it our way, whether it's right or wrong. It's the stellar way, and that's the way we're going to do it. And that's because that's the way we've always done it. So why change?
Yeah,
that literally is the Steeler philosophy. Why change? Why should we change?
Well, maybe now that can
now they will change.
Remain to be the philosophy and say, let's why change, but let's try it on this track for a while.
Yes, and I'm liking what he's doing, but I'm just afraid that, if this season isn't a rousing success, that people are going to have a backlash against him making these moves.
They're
going to want to go back to the conservative Steeler way.
I almost can't imagine that this season could be bad. I can't. And don't get me wrong. I mean, it can happen.
Yeah.
But so much has been, so much has been done to make sure that this season is better than last year. I'm having the hardest time even completing the thought in my mind to think that we could be even worse than we were last year.
But it can happen because there are a lot's riding on people taking that huge next step. And if that doesn't happen, because a lot of fans, you can see it online, they're projecting us to make deep runs into the playoffs. And if that doesn't happen, people are going to look back at the season and say it was a flop, it was a failure. That's just what I'm afraid of.
I think we're going to do well. I think we're going to do really well, to be honest with you. And especially if we can keep, we keep adding to this defense. The
thing is, not like this defense, man, there's a lot of pressure on this defense. They cannot slack off. They have to hold people under 21 points a game. They got to hold people
Oh,
around
5,
like
almost say.
14
I
to
think that
19
they can
points a
do that
game.
with this defense that they have.
They
though.
better. If they don't, there's a lot wrong. And a lot of players on that team are gonna have to take a long look in the mirror.
Yeah. Another speculation move I've seen yesterday. What if DeAndre Hopkins lands in New England? Does this scare anybody? Because it doesn't
No.
scare me at all.
No, they have
No.
Mac Jones.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Mac
They're-
Jones and
their quarterback
aged
room is
worse
DeAndre
than Kenny
Hopkins
Pickett.
and Juju Smith-Schuster being the guy on the other side. I'm not concerned about that at all.
Me either. Like, Juju is a great number 2. Like, if you had Hawkins up there, Hawkins can still put up numbers, but for what you would have to pay him, for me, if I'm DeAndre Hopkins, I'm going to the Chiefs. I'm going to where I can get a Super Bowl. I'm going to Philadelphia. I'm
I'd
going
rather
to
see him on Buffalo.
San Francisco or Kansas City. Those are the places I'm going. I
I'd
don't
rather
know why
see
you
him
would
on
go
Buffalo.
anywhere else.
All right,
Buffalo would be a
LeBron.
good pick.
Hey,
You got to go. You got to get the ring. At
That's
this
what
point in his
they-
career,
yeah.
he's been on a bad
that's
team.
what they say.
Why not?
Also
Why
in
not
New
go?
England-
If you're stuck on a bad team and you're finally given your freedom, I would go to the best team
That
available.
just means they can't build around you. You're not the guy that
No,
you're
that
made
just
out
means
to
the
be.
team. So if you have a terrible GM, it's your fault that you have a terrible GM. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Pretty
your
much.
fault that
Also
the
with
front
New
office
England.
can't build around you. It's your fault that you're a great player.
This guy hasn't carried a team yet. He hasn't carried a team yet into success. Not
He made
once.
him and Deshaun Watson made that terrible Texans team a pretty good team.
They weren't. You think that was a really good team?
Not a really
Really?
good team, but they've
Really?
had some good. They had
Really?
some good
Please tell
they
me
had
something
some-
that was successful.
They played well
from that
down
team.
there.
Please, I can't think
It's
of
not
any.
their fault. They had bad
I do
coaching and bad
remember-
ownership.
I
So
and bad front
everywhere
office.
DeAndre Hopkins is going to play, unless he goes to a Super Bowl contender, it's going to be the GM's fault. Okay, I got it. All right, so let's move on.
Yes, because he's not out there playing defense. He's not out there blocking. He's not out there designing
But
the
this
plays.
is what you pay the big money for. You pay the big money.
You
for
pay the big money
guy.
for him to throw, catch, run, pass block, play defense, play
In
play
every
special
team
teams.
that he's ever
Okay.
been on, it's been the GM's fault
Yes.
that they haven't been good.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
got it.
Look at the
Okay.
teams he's played
Okay,
on.
I got it. Okay,
He played
say
for the
no more.
Texans to
I
the
understand your
Cardinals.
point. I understand your
I don't understand
get
what's
it.
so hard
I
for
get
you
what
to
you're saying.
understand about that.
Whether
That he's
one
been on
agrees with
bad
it or not,
teams,
I get what you're
bad
saying.
organizations.
It's time to
That
move
makes no
on.
sense. It makes no sense that you think that he's the problem. That makes no sense.
He
Makes
hasn't
no
won
sense.
anywhere he's ever went. That's all I got to say.
Coaching.
No,
Doesn't
Derpy, it's
win
not the
anywhere
coaching. It's not the
He's
coaching.
ever went.
It's not
So
the
we'll
bad
send him to the
teams.
team that just won 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. Oh, of course he's going to do good. Of course.
He's put up numbers everywhere he's played. He's done his part. No one around him has done the part.
I got you.
Yeah.
We got you, Mike.
Yes.
Also in football news yesterday in the WFA, the Pittsburgh Passion, they drop another one, guys. They dropped it to the Renegades. Not as bad this time. Last time I recall being 60 something.
61-0, I think.
Boston Renegades win this game 32-12. I don't know what that does to the Pittsburgh Passion's playoff chances, but that was the last game of the regular
That's
season.
not as bad.
I got to keep our eye open to see. No, it's not as bad. And the other football game of the weekend, guys, was a really good one. Pittsburgh Maulers, they stay alive with 1 week left. Week 10 coming up. They win yesterday, 19-7 over the Michigan Panthers. All defense. Tazzino, he's the leading tackler in the league. He had 2 interceptions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they blocked punts. They took returns back. I mean, it was just everything that was going on was highly favored for the Pittsburgh Maulers. And now all they have to do next week, guys, is win and they're in. They play the New Jersey Generals. Win and you're in. That's it. You lose, you're out. You win, you're in. It doesn't get any more cut and dry than that. If the Pittsburgh Maulers at Canton next week can beat the New Jersey Generals, they are going to the playoffs. And in the following week would be the USFL North Championship round. In the following week after that would be the championship. So being a cellar dweller for a lot of the season and coming up, and it was a roller coaster. No two ways about it with this Maulers team. But they could be one of the teams that get it. All they got to do is win. That defense comes up big. Troy Williams has a big day. Special teams has a big day. All they got to do is win. They're in. I'm digging this, man. If the Maulers could get into the playoffs, I think that's going to go a long way for this team, because a lot of times people see a team like the Maulers and they're like, oh, these teams, they always stink. Why should I follow them? Back in the 80s, they stunk. They stink now. They make no playoffs. They have no chance. I think a playoff appearance by the Pittsburgh Maulers goes a long way for this team.
It should. My God, like you said, man, they from being in the basement all year to being controlling their own destiny to winning. Who would have thought? My God, because like you said, in the original incarnation of this team in the original USFL, they were the worst. Last season in the USFL, they were the worst team. But this team, my God, the record's not that good, but they've been playing some really good football. If they've been playing, if they play, that defense has been lights out all year.
That's why I think they have a chance to win this game.
Me too. Yeah.
What have I said before in sports?
That's why they play 162 games.
That's why they play 162.
No. Any level.
Baseball's a long season. What's that?
What have I said about any level in sports?
You like the guys with the extra tight jock straps?
No.
Just tell me, please. What is it?
Matchups, motivation, and playing the best at the right time.
I've never heard you say that in my life, but you know
what?
I've
said that multiple times.
I'll take your word. Sometimes I don't retain, and on the other hand, sometimes I miss it. So I'm going to take your word. The punter for Pittsburgh kicked an 83-yard punt, guys. If you get a chance, pull this punt up and watch it because it's in the air. It's in the air. 83. I've never seen anything like it. The guy kicks from his own field goal. His own goal line, and his ball goes 83. It goes more. But in the air, the punt that I couldn't believe it. I would drop Harvin and Braden, man.
And sign this guy.
Instantly.
Like it was a beautiful kick too. Because
you see that?
Because when you hear 83, you think it's just gonna roll.
Right.
Okay. No.
That ball goes
83 yards
in the air.
83 yards. It was one of the best punts I've ever seen in my life.
Where did it stop
like this in my life? Dude, it was bouncing around down near their end zone.
The guy picked it up and ran. He caught it on like one or two bounces.
Yeah.
Where did it stop at?
Within his own 5-yard line.
I don't know, Derpy. He kicked it 83 yards.
It was amazing. Dude kicked it from his own goal line. Went 83 yards, bounced around. A guy grabbed it within his own 10, inside his own 10-yard line. He ran for a couple to get some back. 83 yards. Unbelievable.
What a punt.
I would be signing him today, right now, yesterday.
What a punt.
Dude, I couldn't believe my eyes.
It was a thing of beauty.
And as Mike said, you're kind of expecting it. Okay, 83. Bounce. I seen everything before my life.
You don't get signed. That's ridiculous.
Bro, this dude only has one, possibly a couple more games left. But after that, somebody should be taking him.
They better. If not, they at least bring him in for a look.
Exactly.
Yeah. The Riverhounds win yesterday. They take over first place, Mike. They beat Charleston 2-0. This Pittsburgh Riverhounds team is really, really making some waves. The only game they've lost in like the last, I don't know, forever it seems like, was that one just the other day in the big tournament, which a lot of people thought it was pretty crazy that they even made it as far as they did. Mike, what do you like? What do you like most? And I'm going to tell you what, those blankets that I told you about that they gave away to the first 500 fans yesterday, they were nice. I would have loved to have one of these blankets. It was of Highmark Stadium, real nice shot of it, and it was on like a big blanket. But Mike, what do you like most about the soccer team?
They're just competitive. Every game that they've played, that I've seen, and then since we've really started following them, they're competitive.
Yeah,
Mike,
they don't, they're not getting blown out. When they lost, they only lost that one game. It was like 3-1. Okay, that's not bad in the grand scheme of things, especially considering you're playing an MLS level opponent, and they're competitive. They're not getting destroyed. They're not getting embarrassed.
Is this the next league? This is the next league, right?
Yeah, it's the league down from the MLS.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, people are getting into. They're packing that stadium, guys. So say what you will about
Highmark
soccer.
Stadium, baby.
In Pittsburgh, they pack it. They pack it every game, and you know what? The team does not let them down. I like it a lot. Go black and gold.
Yeah, they've been around since 1999.
Wow,
that team has grown a lot. They started out on like a terrible field. It was like people were calling it like a postage stamp field,
right?
And then they just year after year after year they got better. I'm gonna say like the past 7 to 10 years they've really taken off.
Looking really good. Certainly hearing a lot more about them just in general. You know what I mean? Of course we talk about them, but just in general, you hear buzz about this team.
It's taken me a long time to like warm up to like American soccer. I grew up like when I watched soccer when I was growing up, it was always I was watching the Premier League or the Bundesliga and stuff. And Spain. So I'm like, you're watching at the highest level. It's like going from trying to watch like the NHL to watching the AHL and the USFL or or the WHL. It's a major drop off. But once you embrace it for what it is, you can find there are some really good players in all
The
levels.
United States has built a culture for soccer
They're
like
trying.
it wasn't before.
It's still a niche sport, but like where it's popular, it is huge, huge. Especially like up in Portland, that they pack that place for when they play up there, the Portland Timbers and in the MLS. It's when you embrace it for what it is, it's fun to watch. You just have to set aside the expectations that you're going to watch Messi or Ronaldo out there. You're not, but there are some good athletes out there.
And for Americans who aren't really too soccer savvy just in general, that should be okay. I mean, you're not quite at that soccer snob stage where it's like, oh, I have to watch Messi.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's taken me a long time to get over that soccer snobbery.
Yeah. Mike, here's something I love. You gotta love this, Derpy.
Okay.
The A's beat the Brewers again.
Good. We needed it.
This A's team, they're on a 4-game winning streak.
Well, I mean, they're going to Vegas, and it would make sense since the Vegas Knights won last night. Just kidding.
We're still in first place. There's 18 games left to the halfway point. Then you figure you get to the end of July. If we're still lingering, guys, you start talking about getting O'Neal Cruz back. Start talking about looking around what other teams are going to give up, build some reinforcement for your team. If we could just hang in there, we're not that far off. I mean, we made it this far. We have to make it another month and a half. It's just hanging in there.
I think we can do it. Like, here's my thing, like with the A's winning, people are saying they're the worst team in baseball. Maybe the NL Central is the worst division in baseball.
Oh, absolutely.
Since we've lost
the
A's,
AL Central is pretty rough too. Between the two divisions, it's tough to say.
But the A's, my God, coming in as advertised as the worst baseball team possibly ever. They knock off the Buccos when they were in first place. They're knocking off the Brewers, who were in first. Now they're down to second place because of the A's. This is like an indictment on the NL Central right now.
Yeah,
what's going on? And this A's team, like you said, they've beat every first place team that they've played. They beat Atlanta. Crazy. They beat Pittsburgh. They're beating the Brew Crew. I don't get it. It makes zero sense whatsoever. But I'm here for them being the spoilers.
I'd like to see them
about yesterday.
If they could sweep Milwaukee, that'd be fantastic. Because we have Mitch Keller on the hill today.
Yes,
who came off a bad pitching performance last time, and he wants to make up for this.
Yes,
so he's coming into this game with a 7-2 record, 3.60 on the ERA, 94 Ks. He's going to be going up against Carlos Carrasco, who's 2-2 with a 5.94 and only 23 Ks on the season. I mean, we could win this game, guys, and and that's a big if, because for the A's to sweep somebody, I think is going to be insane. I tend to think that Milwaukee's going to get a little bit back today. But on our part, we're in a perfect situation here because again, we have our ace on the hill, and that's what you want to be in if there's a game that you need and you want to win. Today's big. Today's a big day. We are by 1 percentage point better though than the Milwaukee Brewers with a 5.24. So we are technically in first place because the Brewers are only 5.23 percentage on their when they're winning percentage.
Look at us, just every little thing to get us into first place is happening. I'm loving it.
We are the third best team in the NL. If the playoffs started today, we would be the number 3 seed. The
way the season has gone for the Buccos.
It's wild. We would play Milwaukee.
Optimism.
And I believe that, here's the thing. This isn't about optimism. I mean, like I said, we're only 18 games away halfway through the season. We could still be in first place. Like I said, it's something. Everything to this point would lead us to think that you should not be a good baseball team, or you should not be at least in the position that we're in. However, everything in this season played to the point to get us to exactly where we're at. So again,
Yeah.
18 days from right now, 18 games, we're at the halfway point. And then, like I said, at that point, you're hitting July, you're hitting
Mhm.
All-Star break. You get to the end of July, and if you're still in that talk,
Yep.
it's a whole different
Trade
story.
deadline.
You're,
Yeah,
you're
'cause
you're buying. You have teams selling. You have teams that don't even want to play anymore because they're not even in it. So that's your competition the rest of the way.
mhm.
You just got to get that point, And we're, like I said, O'Neal Cruz, he can't be, maybe 2 months more at the most. But I think that he's going to be a big part of that ending part of the season. He comes in fresh when the Pirates are trying to make that final stretch, and so it's crazy. I can't even say it's good. I can't say it's bad. I could say this though: the one word that you could use, that I would use to describe this Pittsburgh Pirate team confidently, would be inconsistency.
Yes.
A team that put up 15 runs 2 nights ago and 1 run last night. And this happens, of course, but this is the story of the Pittsburgh Pirates season. It's what it's been. They either lose by 9 runs or go ahead, Mike.
They're consistently inconsistent.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the Pirates are.
It sounds like the Penguins.
Yeah, you can count on them to not be the same team day in and day out. It's frustrating, but they are sitting in first place somehow. We're just lucky we're playing in a terrible division. But like you said, getting O'Neal Cruz back will be huge. I'm just hoping he can come back healthy, ready to go, because he's gonna have to do some rehab starts, get that timing back on the swing and everything. But that's a huge piece of this offense, because he was, the building block of this team. You're supposed to build around him. We're potentially going to lose Brian Reynolds, and he was going to be the next guy. But now we got big stacks in. But he's sucking. So it's O'Neal Cruz is going to have a lot more pressure put on him. He had a lot of pressure coming into the season, then got hurt. But now that he's coming back, and hopefully he'll be coming back into a first place team, and I'm just hoping Reynolds can bust out of this slump, because if not, all the pressure is going to fall onto O'Neal Cruz. And can he handle that pressure? I think he can, but for someone who hasn't played a full season in the majors, that's a bit much to put on someone.
This team, they are, as I said, first place. The Brewers are in second place. The Reds got a win yesterday over the Cardinals. They sit in third place alone at 4 games back. The Cubbies beat San Francisco. They sit at 5 games back alone at 5.5 out. And finally, the Cardinals bringing up the rear, 7 games. They just can't seem to get it going. Mike Derpy, the Brewers go on to play the Twins for 2 games after today.
I'm gonna be real.
While we go over to Wrigley Field to play Chicago, to play the Cubs, and then at the end of the week, we meet up. It is the first matchup of the 2 top teams in this division. So Milwaukee finishes up today with the A's. They play the Twins in 2, and then the end of the week, they get us. We finish up today with the Mets, and then we get the Cubbies over in Wrigley, and then we head straight to Milwaukee from there. So this week is big, and I know I say this all the time, but it really is. This week is big because, again, you lose 2 games, that's 2 spots you're already down 2 games when you're playing against that team head to head. The end of this week is big, guys. We still have a little bit going on before we get to that point. The Mets coming. Here's another thing. The A's come in and they had this worst losing streak. What was they? 15 games, and then they beat us. Mm-hmm. Mets come in off a 7-game losing streak, and they find a way to beat us. So hopefully the results of this series, they get the rubber match today at 135, could be different from the A series. And if we can win this one, guys, that would be a 6-3 record on this 9-game homestand that we was talking about. What can we do with these 9 games? And I'll take a 6-3 run.
Yeah, it's not great, but not bad. That's for the Buccos, that's good enough.
Yeah, right.
You can't. It's hard to expect more from the Buccos out of a 10-game stretch.
They're packing the stadium right now. Buccos are 33-30. The Mets are 31-34 coming into this game. As I said, the stadium is packed. People are coming to see Andrew McCutchen get this hit. He just couldn't get it yesterday. He's doing one thing very well. Over the past 7 games, he's walked 10 times. Yes. So he's finding a way to get on, and the pitchers are helping him out a little bit in that area. But Kutch, he's sitting with one hit shy of 2,000.
Who's on the mound for the Mets today?
Today is Carlos Carrasco with a 2-2 and a 5.
He's going to get the hit.
I agree. I think that he's going to do it today. That Sunday crowd's always big. It's Kids Day at PNC Park. Plus, it's been filling up more and more every game. So I think that place is going to be packed, and hopefully he could get that done.
This is reminding me of like that Bernie Mac movie, Mr. 3000, just trying to get that last hit. This is what Kutch is going through right now. It's going to take him
Really?
a while. Yeah. Yeah. If Bernie Mac had to come out of retirement, and trying to get his hits or whatever.
Yeah.
And it took forever and ever and ever. And that's kind of what it's feeling like with poor Kutch here. It's like in hockey, that guy who's going for like goal number 500. He just can't seem to get the net. Can't seem to find it.
People are overthinking it at that
someone
point. They're
tips
putting
it
too
in.
much
Yeah.
emphasis in it. Because when you get to
putting
that
pressure on
point by not
yourself.
thinking of the record, you're just playing. But
Uh-huh.
once everybody's beating it into your head and they're saying it over and over, you want it now.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't matter
like
how
that.
mentally tough you are, how well you are at blocking stuff out. At a point, it gets through, and you're just like, you're in your own head. I watch him have like a 4-hit night tonight or this afternoon.
It would be a big change again last night. The Pirates Pirates lost in the match yesterday, 5-1. Oviedo threw six in a third innings. He only gave up 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and had 5 Ks. And as Mike said, Big Stack's not doing anything great. He had a hit. Again, the Big Stack watch is on here at the 2 Dum Yinzers, as always. We're waiting for Big Stack's $110 million game. That's what I want to see. I want to see. I want to see him hit for the cycle, or I want to see him hit 2 home runs, or I want to see something that you would think you would get from a guy that you're paying that much money to. This is what I want to see from Brian Reynolds.
Yeah, he
Chris Boswell.
Yeah, but at least Boswell.
Why do you keep saying that? What is it about Boswell? I'm missing the point because
Boswell, every time Boswell signs a contract, that following year is not as good as the previous one. He always has like a down year, then does well, and then sign a contract bad, and then does well.
I see. Okay. I did not know.
I got to explain the joke.
No, you're good.
Because Derpy's not good at that.
I don't usually catch them anyway.
Poor Derpy.
But we do, guys. The Cubbies, the first time we played them, this series starts on Tuesday. And as I said, the Brewers will be playing the Twins for 2, kind of priming a little bit to get ready for each other, because the end of the week, it's a big one, man. Pirates, Brewers. This could finally create separation to top the division. Also, Mike Derpy, Vegas Golden Knights, they win again last night, 3-2. Vegas goes up 3-1 in this series. Real quick, we don't have to get too deep into it, but is there any chance at all that the Florida Panthers could come back and win?
It's going to be tough. But no, I don't think so.
What do you think, Derpy? Is there any chance at all?
I think it's a wrap, but I know NHL, they like going 6 or 7.
Okay, fair. And finally, the basketball finals, they don't play their next game till tomorrow, but the Denver Nuggets are up 3-1 on the Heat. Same thing, same situation. Florida team down 3-1 against the Western Conference team that never won a championship before but are dominating. Is there any chance in the world the Miami Heat have coming back and winning this?
No, because we saw like Jokic had a bad game for himself where he only put up 20 points. And they have better depth. That team is just better all around.
It's almost like they're destined to win this year.
It's just a really, really good team.
Yeah, you know that.
But Miami's they've had a great run. They knocked off the number 1, they knock off the number 2 in the East to get here. So they're going to fight all the way. It's too much talent on
the funny thing about this, Mike, every time we have this conversation, you could be talking about either the Heat or the Panthers.
Yeah. You just say
they're literally the same story,
the same conversation. Yeah,
unbelievable.
I kind of want to shed a tear for someone.
Shed away, Derpy.
Shed away, Derps.
He was a part of the 2003 draft.
2003 draft.
Went to Syracuse. And now his franchise that drafted him is about to win a ring without him. Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, Melo. That's true, but Carmelo might be the greatest international basketball player of all time, though. So he does have that. And I'm not saying that.
He never did win a ring, did he?
No, he never won a ring, but my God, he was one of the.
And he wore 15 too.
Yes, he did.
But he legit was one of the greatest international basketball players of all time. And I'm not saying that to be farcical or funny to slight the guy. That guy, he helped the U.S. win a lot of gold medals.
Yeah, there was a lot of times we'll
like you would see him play in the international, like, dude, why can't you move and shoot and pass and do it in the pros? But you would see like other pros struggle in the international game. This guy just dominated.
Like, why don't you tell everybody about the website?
2dumyinzers.com. Head on over there for all your 2 Dum Yinzer needs. I would hit the little button to bring up the QR code, but I don't have that anymore. due to technical difficulties. But Bob Nothing Tea is available at 2dumyinzers.com.
All right, guys. Last Mets trivia, at least till they go to play at Citibank Field later on the season. The last Mets trivia of this weekend. Here we go. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
All right. It would be good. I'm going to give you a hint up front. And I don't think this is going to apply to you, Mike, because I know you, you'll see. It would be helpful to know this person from a certain, what's the word I'm looking for? Pop culture. From a certain pop culture. If you watch something, you would know this person, and that would help you with this. But again, I don't think you watched it, but here we go. Are you ready?
All right, I'm ready.
Which Mets first baseman won the Gold Glove Award in 11 consecutive seasons? Which Mets first baseman won the Gold Glove Award in 11 consecutive seasons? You may know, Mike. But again, pop culture, if you were into this particular show, I think it would make it a little bit easier for you. Guys, go ahead and think that out for a moment. And we are on live all week at 11:30 a.m. every day, 7 days a week. And the show that we do every day gets uploaded over on Spotify at 8 o'clock in the evening. So this particular show here, if you just want to listen to it in podcast form, go over to Spotify later on after 8 o'clock and you'll be able to just listen to it.
Here we go. Here's a P. Florida man is coming with that swamp juice, going to push it to game 6. What was the question? I'm sorry. I was reading the comments. I was getting caught back up on the comments.
Which Mets first baseman won the Gold Glove Award in 11 consecutive seasons? Derpy, I'm going to start with you. What do you think?
I have no idea, so I'm just going to go the cursed baseman.
The cursed baseman. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
All right. The cursed baseman. I'm going to lock Derpy in on the cursed baseman. Watch him be right. All right. Mike.
Did Keith Hernandez? I'll go Keith Hernandez. He's the only name popping into my head right now.
Which Mets first baseman won the Gold Glove Award
for the
in
Yankees.
11 consecutive seasons? Mike says Keith Hernandez. Is that your final answer?
The second spitter. I don't know if they were Yankees fans or Met fans.
So you do know the reference that I'm referencing to.
It's the second spitter. Yeah, it's like one of the few
Ron
funny
Darling was
moments.
the other one. Get out of here, you know what it is. All right, I'm going to lock you in on a Keith Hernandez. All right, guys, for the final question, the final Mets question for now. Which Mets first baseman won the Gold Glove Award in 11 consecutive seasons? Mike says Keith Hernandez. Derpy says the cursed first baseman. The answer, in fact, is Keith Hernandez, guys. Yes, Seinfeld was the pop culture show I was talking about. Yes. And he was, yes, the second spitter, Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez. That is the correct answer. Keith Hernandez. He was a beast, man. He really was. Hey, he's Keith Hernandez. So, Mike, you have anything before we get ready to take off, brother?
I got nothing. I've been slipping and slacking. I'm checking Twitter just to see if there's any late breaking news, and there isn't any. So I'm at a loss. But yes, no late breaking news. Chase Young has not been traded to the Steelers just yet. I'm gonna throw that out there. Derpy.
Derpy never lets us down in the final moments of the show. Derpy, entertain us, would you?
Omar is coming. We're going to get Chase Young, and we're going to win number 7. Simple
you know
as
what
that.
I like that, but I just want to say something. Did anybody listen to the show yesterday? I think Derpy at one point had alien activity going on in the background. I don't know if anybody caught this.
There was some stuff going on back there, and
I'm
that,
Derpy? I have to know what was. I went back and I was doing some work yesterday, and I went back and I was listening, and there was a period of time for maybe about 15 seconds where it sounded like aliens were going to work on each other. Is what it sounded like. And it had to be coming from Derpy's place. What was that, Derpy?
I think we've lost Derpy again.
I think no. Derpy, what are you doing? All right, so there you go. I have no idea. I think Derpy may have got abducted one more time. You know what else I noticed too, Mike? Sometimes the fire alarm goes off. Sometimes it doesn't.
I've noticed that. I think
Derpy's a mystery. He's an enigma.
He is. He's a riddle wrapped in an enigma wrapped in a burrito. I couldn't remember how the quote goes.
My word of the day is this: only 91 days, guys. 91 days to kick off till the San Francisco 49ers come
Aaron
to
Smith.
Acrisure Stadium, take that L to the Pittsburgh Steelers to kick the season off. 91 days, everybody. For
Stairway to
Mike,
7.
Dirt. Whoa, what is that?
He just come flying out of
He's
nowhere.
insane.
Stairway to 7.
Stairway to 7. There you go. For Derpy, Mike, Ryan, the two Dum Yinzers.